Welcome back to America's Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. This segment is brought to you by BOMI.org. They are the industry standard for education for facilities and property management training. Check them out at BOMI.org. Well, today we're talking about social media. Social media for commercial real estate companies, for commercial real estate participants, whether you own a shopping center or an office building. If you're in commercial real estate, you might want to be thinking about social media. My guest is Rod Santomassimo. He's president with the Massimo Group, and Rod is an author. He's written 2 great books on commercial real estate brokerage, and he also has a coaching company. This, I would say, one of the best, if not the best, commercial real estate agent coach in the world, and he's joining us on Skype today. Rod, thanks for being with us.
Oh, Michael, thank you so much. And as always looking forward to these conversations.
And Rod, we were talking before the break, about social media and some things to do right. And I think it's also a place that you can make some big mistakes. You got to be careful. I mean, whether you're a fan of our president or not, I think almost everyone's a little, some of his tweets, things you kind of go, why are you doing that? But he's already elected. He's already president. What are some mistakes that we might want to avoid on social media as a commercial real estate participant?
Well, Michael, I know we could laugh about our president and his tweets, but it actually is a great example of how social media can be your worst enemy. And like him or not, it really doesn't matter. If you look at the economy, you look at things that are happening right now, we have it pretty good. I mean, right now what's going on from an economy standpoint is really strong. And whether you say you give our president credit or not, the problem is what he puts out there on tweets really minimizes any positive work he did. And use that to your own experience. Maybe you're out a broker doing some great deals, or a mortgage broker getting some great terms for your clients, whoever it might be. But are you killing the message by what you're putting out on social media? I'll tell you right now, we now have 28 coaches across North America. And the first thing we do when someone applies to be a coach, we go to social media. We see what they think, what they're putting out there, whether it be inappropriate pictures, quite frankly, or really strong political feelings. Whether we agree or not, not the issue. It's, will the client agree, right, or not? Right. So you be really careful if you're using social media and being authentic still, for helping your business, and will it skew as far as what you're doing?
Yeah.
Now, Michael, let me give you a great example of this. And I know we talked about this. There's a fantastic guru right out there in social media, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V. He right now is the Tony Robbins of our time. If you haven't heard about him, I don't know where you are, but you got to hear Gary V. Fantastic. But he also drops the F-bomb frequently. And he says he's authentic and he's not going to change. Well, guess what happened? Last week, Gary V announced he's having a censor-free YouTube and podcast channel because those Fortune 50 companies were saying, we really don't want to work with you right now until you clean up. So, point taken, in social media, you can be authentic, but you be flexible to adapt given your audience and how they perceive you.
Right. That may be an inappropriate place to talk about even politics, because if you maybe half of your clients are leaning one way and half the other, they see you the opposite, maybe you offend some of those. What's the point in it, right?
I couldn't agree with you more. Well, I don't understand why someone would purposely offend half their potential audience. I just don't understand why.
Yeah, I'm CEO of my company, and I got in the office one Monday, and my leadership came to me and said, "Hey, Michael, the tweet you put out Saturday might be okay, but as CEO, we don't think so." I looked at it and went, "You're right." But it's already out there. But I removed it. It wasn't really bad, but you have to watch it.
There.
Yeah. So I think you've got to watch. It's so fast, it's so quick, and I think some company leadership and company owners are a little concerned about their employees, their agents, or what have you, just posting things. Maybe they do post something that's kind of heat of the moment, or maybe they're out with cocktails at a game and tweet something inappropriate. How do you advise for kind of business managers, for owners, what they might want to consider related to their employees and agents?
Sure. Well, first of all, certainly a different set of circumstances when it comes to employees versus agents, independent contractors, in regards to really what can you expect and manage in regards to behaviors, which social media is all about, right? It's behaviors and messaging. But every company, and 99% do not, every company should have a social media policy that sets expectations that if you're going to use social media, certainly if you're going to use it within the company account or company in way label, theme, reputation, there's certain guidelines that we ask you to follow, pure and simple. So Michael, you have how many agents do you have, Michael?
36.
So you have a big firm. I mean, you have a really big firm. Even on a national perspective, Michael, when you take away all the major markets and major firms, I mean, Bull Realty is a major firm in the national landscape. It just is. So you would have to ask yourself, and I'm not going to ask you here, but what is your social media policy? And are there clear guidelines and expectations? And they're all going to be common sense, let's face it, that you would expect your folks to follow.
Yeah, and you expect them to be positive, and you kind of expect that you're hiring high integrity people, and that they're learning that from leadership. But you're right. Where's the written policy? I don't know that. I'll have to look. I've got a great manager. He does pull out a lot of policy, but I'm selling real estate and helping my brokers. I don't know that I've read it. Maybe I need to read it so I don't mess up, right? And then also, one of the things that we kind of touched on it in the previous segment is, it could take a lot of time to put out social media content and to be active. And it seems like one of the mistakes might be just putting out content that really is not helping you. I mean, you're spending a lot of time, and if it's not for your audience and it doesn't attract your audience, what good is it doing? Like you and I put out posts that help commercial real estate agents. You're an incredible coach for agents, and I have some training for agents, some video training. So we know our audience. We're giving them information that's valuable to them. And you used that earlier. What if you're an office tenant rep in Chicago and you're trying to put out something valuable to your audience? Obviously, it's not something that is interesting to commercial agents, right?
No. Again, you got to know your audience. But I thought you were going with there, Michael. Was how much time you should spend on social media? Was that the original question?
That's one of the questions. And then what? How do you know what's the right content? How do you know what your audience really wants?
Well, first of all, when you do this long enough, and certainly we've been doing social media for, I would say, really, truly engaged in social media for the last 5 years. You can tell pretty quickly what resonates and what doesn't, what gets comments and what doesn't, what gets likes and what doesn't, what gets read the most. So there's no doubt there are themes in our world that we can tell will almost always get an audience. So for example, in our world, when I write a blog or a vlog or create content on prospecting, it's going to get consumed. It just is. We know that. So my point is, you put out enough content, there'll be good, there'll be bad, there'll be read, there'll be won't. You will figure out what themes are going on, what's trending and best for you. Another way to do it, if you're on Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook, see really what's trending, Twitter specifically, on hashtags, what's trending and what's really following, and then you can write some content about that. Write content that's timely. I just put out an article that's going to be, I'm sure going to be a digital piece with a publication. We're a syndicated columnist for a couple of papers, but I know that one's about recon in May, right, for the retail audience. That will be read in May by the retail audience. So there's timing, there's trending, there's your own historical review of what works and what doesn't. All is data you have to use to figure out what else you want to put out in the future. Yeah,
well, that's a great point, Rod. And, I put out a lot of great content, especially from this show, the accounts on our show. But, recently I've noticed that I've get more mileage out of something more personal. Though I talk about something personal that happened that was funny or whatever, man, that just gets tons of activity. I'm like, wait a minute, what about this great content I'm putting out that's valuable?
Well, that actually, it's proven to be true. Look, when I first started out, Michael, I remember someone said to me, and again, you got to Google this, some of you all, you want to understand the reference point. They said, and they used a bad word, but they used, who are you, effing Fraser Crane? And I didn't understand the context of it, but what he was telling me was, Rod, who are you? Some Harvard graduate that's speaking to a symposium? Get down to the level you're at. Get down to your audience, and more importantly, be authentic, be yourself. And I made the switch after many years. Finally, recently, I said, you know what? Enough with this being prim and proper all the time and the cheese and crackers. I mean, that's me, but not. I do attend once in a while. I'll say crap or bullshit or something. And so I started saying that now. And guess what? Readership is going up. I'm becoming more authentic. People like when you are who you are.
You better be careful, Rod. Well, what would you leave our audience with, Rod, about social media? And if this was a good one to leave them with, how do you know you're getting a return on investment?
Sure. Well, first of all, there's no doubt if you're advertising, there are other tools in every medium to show the connections you are making with those ads. My team tells me every week, here's an ad we put on Facebook, here's who went out and clicked the ad, and then even here's of those people who schedule a meeting for us and how our sales guys convert from there. We know there's an ROI with our Facebook ads. That's absolutely true. But I also tell you, we also ask all our prospects and all our clients, how did you hear about us? How did you hear about us? So we tell us where was our presence. Most times, it used to always be my books. That was always the number one source for our leads. Now it's down, no doubt. The number one source for our leads today is based on our people who consume our content. That's what it is. They consume our content. Can I tell you what the ROI is based on the hundreds of thousands of dollars we spend in social media a year? Well, I can tell you it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I always say is, look, I know when it comes to what I'm going to invest in next month, the month after that, it's going to be to the digital social media side. In fact, I'm starting a podcast next month because I know that's more content to put out. And even, Michael, we are seriously looking, I know I'm being transparent here, just so understand, we're seriously evaluating building a media company because we know it works. We know that much it works. We're going to build a Massimo Media company just for the commercial real estate sector, we believe, in the next year, once we figure out the right formula.
Rod, that's a great idea. I think you absolutely should do that and pursue it in a big way because, I've noticed your content and I noticed it because it's good. I mean, I've been a broker for 35 years. I've studied how to be the best broker I can. I still like to read your content.
Well, I still listen to the commercial real estate show every week. So either there's a bromance going on here, or just we put out good stuff. I don't know what it is.
It is good, and so I'd like to see that. I think I might have to be one of your first customers.
Oh, Michael, if we could do just a mere fraction of the audience that you've reached, and it's an amazing show what you've done. Now, let's face it, you've got the show. Your show creates vlogs, it creates blogs, it creates tweets, it creates Instagram posts, it creates a podcast automatically with your Audible. So you've got it all working for you. You got the hub.
Well, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to be like Rod one day. Rod, thank you so much, sir, for being on the show.
Michael, I always appreciate the invite, and I look forward to the next time we get together, my man.
All right,
Take care.
Look forward to see you soon. Thanks, Rod. If you'd like more information, check out Rod Santomassimo and check him out on Facebook. Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on LinkedIn. He does provide some great information. Whether you're a commercial agent, a mortgage broker, fine. But if you're in commercial real estate in any way, do check him out. And thanks for sharing this show. If you like to look at my Twitter account, it's at Bull Realty or at CRE_show. My show and myself, but I'm also on Facebook and all the accounts. And we put out some great content. And we appreciate you sharing it and you connecting with us and you commenting on this show and others. So thanks for being with us. Until next week, be sure that you always lead, learn, and laugh, and join us for America's Commercial Real Estate Show. America's Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty. For customized asset and occupancy solutions, visit bullrealty.com. Commercial Agent Success Strategies. incredible training for commercial agents. Visit commercialagentsuccess.com. Red IQ, turning multifamily data into actionable intelligence. Visit rediq.com.